Emergency personnel worked through the night to help contain the situation. We have seen over 100 personnel literally worked through the night to make sure that we had this situation under control and contained. And there's one thing I've learned about this team that I stand with, that I'm standing with here, is that also in the military, I learned that you develop a muscle memory with your unit. And I think all of us had that experience yesterday, where we were snapping into place and getting into work. And I'm grateful to have this team to my flank in this work. This is a team that has done hard things before. This is a challenging assignment, but this is also a team that in challenging assignments and challenging times does not flinch, and we are grateful. We know how to move fast, we know how to move together, and we know how to keep things under control. And the Coast Guard and their contract, the Coast Guard and the contractor are using oil absorbent materials and skimmers that feed into a 4,000-gallon pump truck. That also includes, in addition to the over 100 personnel who have worked through the night, that includes the fact that we have 3 skimmers out here, we have 6 vac trucks, we have 1,000 feet of sweep, and we have 600 feet of boom already deployed. And as of this morning, we have no evidence to suggest there is any impact on drinking water in the area. Now, despite that, I do want to be clear that we still have work to do. And we ask that all mail-owners are using alternate routes away from Harbor East and allow the emergency personnel to do their jobs. Avoiding the area will help to ensure that our emergency personnel can make sure that they can get this mission accomplished efficiently and effectively. Enforcement officers will be on site to help with traffic during peak hour travel time this morning. With that, I'm going to turn the program over to my friend and partner in the work for additional details on traffic and to outline Baltimore City's role in the response. Mayor Scott.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Governor, for your leadership. I'm sure, as everyone can tell, this is another all-hands-on-deck response. And as the governor said, there isn't a better team to do this than the folks standing with us. We have a muscle memory, and everyone has been through a lot together. But when you've been through a lot together, you can accomplish a lot together. I want to start by thanking our partners, starting with our partners at the state, led by our governor, the Coast Guard, everybody from the city of Baltimore, from the fire department, emergency management, DPW, transportation, all of our agencies, the police department that have been working here. Our partners with Hopkins that have collaborated with us on this, and contractors, including the Miller Environmental Group. And unfortunately, as you know, this isn't the first an emergency response like this, and we know from that experience that between us, working together seamlessly is the only way to accomplish the goal. As you can see, this response is still ongoing, but for should know. First, we can smell gas. Obviously, you can smell that gas, and we can see the oil on the water. But we know people are understandably concerned. But again, as you just heard, there is drinking water, and we're doing everything that we can to mitigate any environmental impacts of the spill. We are proud of the progress that was made overnight and over the recent years to improve the harbor. We have that at the front of our minds as everyone does this work today. And we're just as committed today as we've ever been. Second, emergency road closures are in effect in Harbor East, focused around Central Avenue and expanding several blocks from this site at the South Central Avenue Bridge, even north. We anticipate a disruption during rush hour, and that will continue through today. As you heard, officers will be on site to direct traffic, but we are encouraging drivers to avoid the area if possible. This isn't a time to travel down here to try to look and see. Stay away unless you have to come to this area. There are also additional traffic disruption throughout East Baltimore, centered around where Johns Hopkins is. East Baltimore and Fayette, Orleans, and side streets in that area. So make sure that you're avoiding those areas as well as we work closely to around the original spill facility. Our top priority today, tomorrow, and every day is the safety of our residents and our environment. And we're going to power to restore the area as quickly as possible without compromising that safety. And once again, I am grateful for the continued support of this team and their teamwork. And I'm grateful to all of the men and women who've been out here all night and those who will work throughout today and until this mission is complete. With that, I will turn it over to our Incident Commander, Fire Chief Wallace. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good morning. I want to start off by acknowledging Governor Moore and Mayor Scott for not only their leadership, but for coming out here last night, being on the ground with us, being here late into the night, and getting us the resources that we need. As the mayor said, I'm currently the incident commander. However, this is a unified command approach, as the city of Baltimore always does. I'll give you a little bit of historical background with this. So yesterday afternoon, our initial response was alongside of the Maryland Department of the Environment and the United States Coast Guard. By way of those three agencies, Harbor Boom was deployed on the water. Very stress that level of coordination and those actions taken by those three agencies have really reduced the footprint of this incident. This could have been far, far worse than what it was. Where we believe the leak occurred, throughout the night we have brought in contractors that are working right now behind us. Once the contractors arrived, we began to skim product off of the water. This is a heating oil product. You'll notice that it's red. So we began to skim that off the water and contain that. Through the remainder of the night into the early morning and where we are right now, we've began an operation where we're opening up fire hydrants and we're starting to flush the storm drain system. What's important is we need to push the product down, push it down to the harbor where we have skimmers, where we have capability and retain product. So that's the operation right now. This operation will continue through a majority of the day. There will continue to be an odor, so we want to stress to our residents there will continue to be an odor here. And I just want to again highlight, speed and coordination was the key to where we're at now. Very speedy response, solid coordination, partnership with our state and federal resources have put us into the position right now. That's what's going to drive the remainder of the day and actually the coming days. And then finally, I want to thank the business community for your patience. Resources, a lot of our resources showed up on a no-notice basis, and the business community has just been amazing. They've worked with us very well, and we'll continue to work with them throughout.
Good morning, Jeff Dunny with the Maryland Department of the Environment. I too would like to echo my thanks for the cooperation and support from both our city counterparts, our federal counterparts, our other state counterparts, as well as our private sector counterpart from Johns Hopkins. As everybody's mentioned so far, this is truly a team effort. So throughout the course of the night, while we were amassing the resources needed to do the cleanup, we were sitting there mapping out, following the storm drain maps so we could isolate and ensure that we knew where the product flow was going to be, so that when we do begin the flushing operation, or we did that earlier this morning, that we knew where it was going to come out and there were no unexpected consequences there. We did identify several oiled waterfowl, specifically geese. Last night, taken to a wildlife rehabber through the Maryland Department of Natural Resources. We had 6 others that were identified during the course of the night that we have a rehabber coming this morning around 7 o'clock. We're anticipating them being here to take those as well. That being said, thank you.
Governor, do we know exactly how this happened? What was the actual spill? How did it happen?
We're still getting the full analysis of exactly what happened. What we know is at approximately 9:30 yesterday morning was when of the leakage. We know that after communication from Johns Hopkins University, that at around 7 p.m. that we're notified that the initial number that we heard of the 200 was actually probably closer to 2,000, and so but really since around 9:30 we know was the initial time of the leakage, but we're still going through all the analysis. Johns Hopkins to also be able to identify the full forensics as to what happened.
And is this a pipeline that has been here before there was development here that's being used, Mayor?
Yes, you know that different parts of the city. Yes, we know there's up where we're talking about further away from here. That is very, very old infrastructure, and obviously coming down Central Avenue, we have new portions. So you're talking about mixing with new systems and vice versa. That's why we had DPW here. They have the capability to look at that by GIS mapping, but we also had them physically going and popping manholes, because nothing beats being able to see it, or in this case, see it and smell it with your own eyes, ears, and nose.
You said that there's no threat to drinking water. Is there any threat to public safety? Any other issues with the smell or anything?
No threats. We just, obviously, to state the obvious, we don't want folks out getting in the water, right? But there's no threat to public safety.
Just to clarify, was this diesel fuel, was it leaked through like a container, or was it leaked like from a building or pipe?
So that's a part of the investigation about how the spill actually happened, but it is diesel fuel.
Can you tell us about, question was asked about air quality impacting the oil with the ozone levels as the sun comes out. Any concern about that, and how are you monitoring the air quality?
I'll just say we're monitoring the air quality right now, and so yes, we're going to make sure that we're monitoring what's going on. But again, right now, there's no impact at this point. But yeah, as the sun go up, we will continue.
Where are we at with the containment right now in terms of, earlier we heard 100 by 250 yard. Where are we at now with that?
So did you say containment?
The containment, yes.
Right, so the incident footprint right now on the water is behind us. It's approximately 100 yards wide by about 250 yards long. We have it contained within this particular footprint. As we flush upstream, we're going to bring product down, we're going to bring it into this area, but the strategy has been contain where we're at right now, reinforce that, bring the remainder of the product down, keep it contained. So we're absolutely on schedule with where we had planned to be about midnight last night.
Got time for a couple more, folks?
Are there any fines that could come anybody's way from this happening?
All of those things about fines and costs and all that will be determined later. Right now, the focus and the most important thing is that we're actually making sure that we get the water clean, get the stuff out of the system. All of that we can talk to you guys about at a later time.
And speaking of getting the water clean, the harbor splash plan, potential impact on that?
We'll see. We'll see. We know that folks are very excited about doing that, just a little further upstream, but we'll see what happens.
How much of this is also a race against? I know safety for all the first responders, but the potential for rain, how much is it a race, Chief Wallace?
So thank you for that question. It is. That's why we're doing the right now. We want to control that. We want to force that flow, but we want to do it in a controlled manner. So that's exactly what we're trying to do right now. Should this happen and rain come behind it, we're going to lose control, right, in the worst case scenario. But right now, as I said, we're absolutely on schedule. It's a great question. We've talked about that through the night, and that's why we're doing what we're doing now and how we're doing it.
All right, guys, thank you all so much.
Everybody.